Hello everyone, it is Joe here from Omnipoke, the channel that brings you guys everything Pokemon, and today we're looking at Volcanion EX. It's a deck that a lot of people are sort of looking towards when going into the Sun and Moon on format because it doesn't really lose anything and it gains a few nice matchups just through typing alone in the new format. It picks up Lurantis and Decidueye and Solgaleo, all as good matchups. And nothing particularly threatens it from the new set either. Things like Umbreon, although it can play Vaporeon, we still feel like it's a fairly easy to navigate matchup because the numbers work out quite nicely for the Volcanion player, and of course we can always simply Lysandre and KO the Vaporeon, and then we're in absolutely fantastic shape. So with no new threats and the deck already being near the top tiers as a very consistent archetype, it makes a lot of people think, hey, you know what, Volcanion's been struggling this whole time in a meta that's not been great for it. Let's see how it functions in a meta that potentially looks a bit more better for it. So this right now is a fairly basic list. There are some interesting decisions in here, but we'll be going through those as usual. First of all, we have cut down to 2 Baby Volcanion. Typically this deck plays 3, but with the inclusion of Nest Ball in the deck, we're actually happy enough with a 2 count. Power Heater is the main reason you like Baby Volcanion. For 1 Fire Energy, you do 20 and choose 2 of your bench Pokemon and attach a Fire Energy card from the discard pile to each of those Pokemon. Obviously, with the ability that we have with Volcanion EX using Steam Up, we can not only get the energy in the discard pile very easily, but also we can increase our output quite nicely as well. So the base of 20 really doesn't speak to how much this can do on the first turn. It's not rare for you to do 80 plus damage turn 1 if you go second, and at the same time get some nice energy acceleration on the board to start powering up your Volcanion EXs in the background. The reason why we're down to 2 is, like I say, we have the 5th ball card in here now, Nest Ball, so technically, even though we've gone down a Volcanion, we're actually more likely to hit Volcanion turn 1 because Trainer's Mail can now be an out into Baby Volk, which is great. And because we play 4 Floatstone, 2 Escape Rope, we really don't get punished for not leading with it in the first place because we can naturally find a switch card plus the Volcanion very easily. So we're happy enough cutting and trimming down to 2 because we have the new Bull card, which I'll get on to later. Next up is for Volcanion EX. It's a very good, powerful Pokemon. It has both fire and water typing. Really, it's the fire typing that is the reason why it's seeing a lot of hype right now for those new grass decks that we've mentioned. Its ability is Steam Up. Once during your turn, you may discard a fire energy from your hand. If you do, during this turn, your basic fire Pokemon's attacks do 30 more damage to your opponent's active. Very, very good stuff. Volcanic Heat is his attack, which has a baseline of 130 for 2 fire and a colourless. But because Steam Up stacks, we can potentially do an extra 120 damage on top of our base output. So Power Heater can scale up to 140, and Volcanic Heat can go up to 250 if all of your Volcanions are in play. And for example, you use a Fisherman and choose to Steam Up 4 times. That's pretty crazy. So as you can see on the right of the screen, O-Hit-KO potential is definitely something that Volcanion EX has and tries to abuse. Pretty much it. Something to note about the Volcanic Heat attack, though, is that this Pokemon can't attack during your next turn. And going back to the high amount of switch cards we have in the deck, that's really to try and mitigate the issue of Volcanic Heat, where simply we attack once, get damaged, retreat into our second Volcanion EX, or maybe back into the Baby Volcanion, and that way we're still doing some damage, but simply not with the same Volcanion EX each time. Also bear in mind we have Ranger in the list to try and prevent that effect of an attack, so that we can use the same Volcanion EX to attack twice in a row. We are playing still 1 Hoopa EX. Even though we do have Nest Ball, I still find Hoopa EX the best means of search. That Scoundrelling ability is fantastic, allowing us to grab 3 Pokemon EX. Typically it's going to be 2 Volcanion, 1 Shaymin EX, so that we can start filling up our bench for attackers and targets for the Power Heater, but additionally we can draw more cards with Shaymin and motor through the deck. The deck has lots of insta-play cards, so its turn 1s can be pretty aggressive and quite long, so Ultra Balling for Hoopa for most turns is just absolutely perfect for you. The 2 Shaymin EX is just in here to give us that little bit of extra draw power, as is typical for Shaymin to be in lists like these. Finally, the tech Pokemon we choose to play is Entei. Entei is 120 HP non-EX basic that has the Combat Blaze attack, for 2 fire energy, doing 20 plus 20 more for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. We really like this guy for a number of reasons. Mega Ray Quasar and Rainbow Road can really struggle against Entei because it's forcing them to deal with a non-EX Pokemon in the first place, which is more resource heavy for these sorts of decks, and definitely for Rainbow Road it's difficult for them to set up a huge amount of attackers. For Ray it's less so the case, but just having another non-EX to throw in their face, especially because we can steam up on top of this, this can sometimes one-hit KO Ray Quasars quite comfortably, so it's a very powerful Pokemon in that respect. Additionally, the simple fact that it's a 2 energy attack cost and not a 3 energy attack cost has bailed us out in so many different situations. Me and Jack have been playing Volcanion on and off together at smaller events for a while now, and we really just like the utility of a 2 energy attacker that can still scale up to around the 100 mark to finish something off after we've used a Volcanic Heat in the first place. It's a really good card, and additionally against Garbodor builds, it's much more favourable to attack with a non-EX that can KO Garbodor than having to use your EX, because you're protecting your easy prize, your best attacker on the bench, and forcing your opponent to deal with a non-EX, which is good for you as well. So we really like the Entei in here, very versatile card, and it helps us out in many, many situations. We are a huge advocate. I know a lot of people like Salamence EX, I'll go into that later, but for now, we're not choosing to play that card. For the items, like I say, 1 Nest Ball's a cool inclusion from Sun and Moon, just a 1 count for now. You get to search your deck for a basic Pokemon and put it directly to bench, so still very good for finding Volc EXs or Baby Volcanion a lot of the time. Like I said, it makes me comfortable to cut down to 2, it just makes sense now. You rarely ever will use more than 2 Volcanion in a game. The non-EX, so it feels fine to me. Then we are playing 2 Escape Rope on top of our 4 Float Stones. Escape Rope gets us into more EX Pokemon if they're using non-EXs in the active. This deck likes to be aggressive and likes to race as quickly as possible because it can create a dominant board state in 2 or 3 turns. So keeping that pressure up is important. It also means that we can Float Stone to retreat and then Escape Rope back into the same Volcanion EX if we only have 1 ready to go. Also helps us get around Jolteon and Regice. Although we do have the Ranger, it's extra outs to those cards, which is very cool for you. And it gets around status too, in case we're asleep or paralyzed and Float Stone doesn't do the job. So yeah. Then we're playing 3 Energy Retrievals with the cool new artwork. This is just to recover energy either for attachments or for more steam ups so that we can have crazy big damage turns. Then we're playing 3 Trainer's Mail. Like I say, we like to be quick and aggressive. Trainer's Mail is one of the best cards for digging because we have, as you can see, 38 trainers in the list. Then we have 4 of the big consistency cards. Max Elixir is an extra way to get even more energy acceleration in this deck. We already have a fantastic attacker with Baby Volcanion, but typically from turn 2 onwards, you want to start going as aggressive as possible and start attacking with your EX Pokemon, and Max Elixir helps us do that because we can start powering up our second Volcanion EX whilst the first one is attacking in the active. Very good stuff. 4 Ultra Ball, fantastic for Hoopa and everything else that you need in the list. 4 VS Seeker as well, just a big consistency card. Our stadium of choice is one of the biggest debates around Volcanion right now. We're choosing to play Rough Seas. We still feel that Yveltal is going to be a big impactful card in Sun and Moon, so this is a fantastic counter to Fright Night Yveltal. It's also very handy against Umbreon GX as well, we found. So that's very good. Even things like Turbo Darkrai, they are oftentimes going for 2-hit KOs, and especially in the early turns, if they do that sort of 80 or 100 damage, you retreat to the bench and start using Rough Seas with your EX. As long as they don't Lysandre at that turn, you get a 60 damage heal, and you can sometimes push yourself back out of range, especially because Volcanion is very good at taking knockouts itself and wiping energies off the board from the Darkrai player. So I think Rough Seas is fantastic in these sorts of decks that like to take 2 hits all the time and like to spread the damage around the board. It's a very, very good card in my opinion. I personally switch between this and Faded Town most of the time. Those are the 2 of my favourite stadiums in Volk. So if you're expecting more Mega Ray and more Mewtwo, I would go to Faded Towns. Personally, I'm really not a fan of Parallel City. It doesn't suit the playstyle of Volcanion, in my opinion, because it's not an insta-play card, just like everything else in the deck can be at times. And that really puts me off the card because I like going very fast with Volcanion and trying to thin the deck as much as possible to help you out from ends. And Rough Seas is always an insta-play card. You can just slap that down if you need to. You're not too fussed about Stadium War as long as you can bounce like a Parallel City when you need to. And there we go, I just said Parallel City. If you're getting hit with a Parallel City, you can't play your own one down, which means it literally can't be an insta-play card, but there are times when you draw it first and you still don't want to put it down because you've not found Hoopa yet, or you've not put down your Shaymin yet. Or even if you have Shaymin in hand and you have the Parallel, that's one less card you get from Shaymin. Because you have to Parallel after you put the Shaymin down. So there's so many reasons why I'm not a fan of Parallel City. I get the logic that you can try and do it before the opponent does it, but I'm just not a fan personally. And the other option is Skyfield. Although we are already teching kind of for Ray and Rainbow Force, the main deck that do play Skyfield, I still feel that Rough Seas has more merit to it overall. But in a way, Parallel City acts in a similar situation as Skyfield, because if you overcommit your bench and your opponent changes the stadium, that's a way of you getting rid of Hoopa and Shaymin. So the mentality is similar, even though Parallel and Skyfield are complete opposite in terms of what they can do for you. It's really the case of when Skyfield is bounced, it acts as a Parallel for you. So I can see the logic behind those two inclusions. Right now, I'm happy with Rough Seas. That's the biggest debate around Volcanion, in my opinion. Alrighty, for the tech supporters, I've already mentioned Ranger, fantastic for allowing you to use the same Volcanion EX twice to finish something off, or just keep attacking, whatever it may be. It also gets us around Jolteon and Regice too. Then we have Fisherman, allowing us to put 4 energy back straight to the hand if they're all in the discard pile. Very good stuff. Like I say, for those big steam up turns, you can attach triple steam up and that often gets you there. It's just great recycle for you in the late game when that's all you really need to do. Just keep attaching and keep announcing steam up and volcanic heat. It's pretty perfect. The deck functions fully off fire energy, so Fisherman's great because it's lots of those cards. We're playing 2 Lysandre. We're currently right now not playing the catcher build. It's something I have tinkered around with. The expected metagame is not that Garbodor heavy. I think Mega Mewtwo and Mega Mewtwo and Yveltal Garb are the 2 main Garbodor lists. Currently, Darkrai is not playing Garbodor, typically. It's mainly Turbo Dark playing Silent Lab. So I'm happier playing Lysandre right now. If Darkrai does start adapting to go more toward Garbodor, then I can see the catcher build being a lot more viable. Additionally, if there's more Evolution decks playing Vaporeon, that is also important to capture the Vaporeon as quickly as possible. For now, though, I'm showing you the simple, straightforward build. Oftentimes, Lysandre's enough to get you there, so we're happy enough with 2 Lysandre. 2 N, as well as 2 Lillie. N is the classic shuffle draw, good early game card, and can still disrupt the opponent, whereas Lillie is sort of a new inclusion. I started off as 1 Lillie and 4 Sycamore, but now I've gone to 2 Lillie because I do really like this card. The more I've tested it, it's really starting to win me over, this card. I'm getting, on average, 4 to 5 cards with Lillie drawn, so it's not just a bad or like an upgraded Bianca. It's actually a viable card, definitely. And again, just like I was saying with Rainbow Force, from turn 2 onwards, it seems like Lillie can often be superior to N, so yeah, Lillie nets more cards, and simply that's all you need with Volcanion. So this is a better card to draw after you've taken 2 prizes than an N would be, so it's cool to have Lillie in the list. And again, I keep going back to the fact that this has a lot of insta-play cards. You're rarely sat on high hand sizes, so Lillie is often netting you a high amount of cards. Finally, 3 Professor Sycamore. It's still obviously one of the best supporters in the game. Lillie is slightly more resource-minded, keeping on to these energy retrievals and stuff like that, and VS Seekers for later down the line. But Sycamore's still Sycamore, nets you a huge amount of cards. The only tool we're playing right now is Floatstone, and I know there's some people who are big fans of fighting Fury Belt. For me, Floatstone is all the way, just because you always want to retreat your Volcanion if you can tank a hit. Obviously, there are certain decks that find it much easier to one-hit KO you. Things like Mega Mewtwo find it ridiculously easy to respond on a Volcanion EX. They need very few energy, just 3, I think. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Yeah. So, Fury Belt pushes that a little bit more awkwardly for them. That now they need an extra energy on top of that. But I don't think it's that impactful, especially because Mewtwo plays 4 Mega Turbo often now anyway. I don't feel like it's enough of a swing for me to want to put Fury Belt in the list when Floatstone is ultimately the superior card for me, because it means that out of our bad starters we can get it out of the active and ensure Power Heater that much more consistently. And when we are actually in Volcanic Heat mode and we're not getting one-hit KO'd, we can simply move into our other Volcanion EX, get full use out of the Rough Seas, and move into your next attacker to ensure more damage that turn. For me, I'm just a huge fan of the high float count, and especially because we have so many stall targets in the deck, just having constant access to Floatstone is important in my eyes. Running off, we are playing still a full count of 12. It just means that we find them more consistently. We have the elixirs. Potentially you could try out 11 and playing one Professor's Letter. I'm not against that. But physically having 12 is better than physically having 11 when you're trying to focus on Max Elixir. So that's the reason why we're sticking with the high count of Fire Energy. So, I've already mentioned a few different cards, but I'll just go over the other options for this deck right now. Tauros GX is an interesting one that a few people have banded about the idea of. It's not a instant inclusion, I think, in Volcanion, seeing as though a lot of the time you're already committing 3 energy to your Volcanion, and it's not really a waste of an energy, because you still can get a Mad Bull GX for a KO. And we're not playing GX Pokemon in here anyway, so you may as well throw a Tauros in, you would think. But for me, I think, really to make the Ninja Boy Tauros combo work, you probably need to play a 2-1 line. 2 Tauros, 1 Ninja Boy. And even then, this deck is heavy on cycle. This wants to draw cards, and off an N, you don't want to hit Ninja Boy, Tauros, or Tauros. So that's not good. And in the early turns, you don't want to draw into Tauros or Ninja Boy either, because you want them in the deck the whole time. And I feel this deck doesn't really care about damage output. As long as there's not a Garbodor in your face, I think you don't care about the output. You get one-hit KOs anyway. You don't need to have the niche time that every now and again you'll hit the Ninja Boy and feel really cool. I think overall your best option is just being as consistent as possible in my eyes. It's rare that you'll have a 2-energy Volcanion getting heavy damage on it, and then you can Ninja Boy efficiently. I just don't think that happens too much. Especially because you've Volcanic Heated, this Pokemon can't attack during your next turn. It doesn't work out very well for you. You need to like Escape Rope Retreat and then Ninja Boy all in one turn. I think it's very niche that you want to play Tauros in my eyes. Next up is going to be Salamence. I hope I have one. Oops, there it is. I've accidentally added it, but I don't want to. Salamence EX is really cool. It is also a good card against the likes of Mega Ray, Mega Mewtwo. It's a pretty good card as well. Because also Turbo Dark and Yveltal, it's threatening in all those matchups, which are quite popular matchups in fairness to Salamence, but it's a bench slot that isn't a Volcanion EX, and I'm currently not playing Skyfield. If you do want to incorporate Salamence, I would say that Skyfield is probably the best option for you. Because simply having a Pokemon on your bench that isn't Volcanion EX, because that's one less steam up, and in matchups where they do play around with their EX count, it's a lot less good for you. Beastly Fang is the main attack for a Fire, 2 colourless, 10 base, plus 50 more for each of your opponent's EXs. So one big benefit is that it can still reach one-hit KOs even under ability lock. So if you Hex for a turn, if Silent Lab's in play and you can't bounce it, if there's a Garbodor out, you can still one-hit KO stuff, which is cool. But overall, I don't see it being impactful enough to play. Overall, I think in the long run against Garbodor variants, you still need to Lysandre KO Garb. You'll still need to replace the Stadium. You'll still need to, well, you know, Hex just happens for a turn, but I think you can still navigate your matchup around a 1 Hex in a game. So overall, I'm not a huge fan of Salamence. Again, just because I'm not playing Skyfield. If I did play Skyfield, I would reconsider the card. I know some people are big fans of it. I can see its merits, but again, it's one that I've tried before and I'm not a huge fan of. I prefer the Entei just because its attack cost is 2 energy and not 3, so yeah. The big debate about Stadium. I've already mentioned them, but I'll just say Skyfield is one that I'm not against playing. Parallel City is one that I will personally never play in Volcanion. Tried it once, absolutely hated the card, and I will not be looking at it again, ever, to try and play it. And the final one is, what's it called, Faded Town. Faded Town's not a bad option either. That's pretty much what I've been flirting between. Rough Seas and Faded Town are the two most popular ones for me. It can really help out against Mega Math, Mega Guardy, Mega Ray. I think those are balanced matchups. Playing the Faded Town could sometimes swing them. The Mewtwo matchup, I think the Faded Town doesn't impact the game enough to make it favourable for you. So if you're trying to tech for Mewtwo, Faded Town isn't the way to tech for Mewtwo. There are hopefully other ways. Playing Fury Belts and maybe even like Enhanced Hammer or something. Enhanced Hammer's not often seen in Volcanion. It was something that a few of the European players picked up, playing like 2 or 3 Enhanced. To try and deal with like Yveltal and sometimes Mewtwo, but I still think Mewtwo can reach too easily. So Enhanced Hammer maybe, but again, it's one of these things that I'm not a huge fan of. Super Rod is a card that is oftentimes considered in Volcanion. Sometimes it's just overlooked a lot of the time, but it can really be helpful for decks that can actually one-hit KO Volcanion. Things that do get the one-hit KO means that for the rest of the game we have one less potential steam up available to us, and after we've lost 2 Volcanion EXs, sometimes then we're not getting one hits on our own side of the board. Even with our abilities, we can steam up to 190 with only 2 EXs on the board. So Super Rod can recycle those, which is nice. And again, now that we're only playing 2 Baby Volcanion, there may be matchups where that's more impactful, so Super Rod is definitely a consideration card for you. Catcher is another big debate around this deck. The big old debate around catchers. I've already mentioned that it's really down to how much Garbodor you expect, in my opinion. Garbodor and Vaporeon are the biggest high priority targets that threaten Volk right now. So being able to cycle through the deck as much as we do, and we will draw into these catchers. Playing 3, I think, is the maximum that I would ever play. 1 Lysandre, 3 catcher. Making 4 spaces is just too delicate for you. You lose too many important cards, in my opinion. But 3 catcher I think is fine. Flipping heads is great, obviously. It's very impactful. It makes sure that you can get into Shaymins quickly. You can take your 6 prizes as quickly as possible. But additionally, you hit those high priority targets. Playing the catchers means you can be a little bit more cheeky on your energy retrievals. You can easily cut that to 2. I think from there you cut 1 Lysandre, that's 2 spaces. I think you cut a Lillie, that's 3rd space. And I think it's Floatstone that gets the cut as well. If you want to try out the catcher build, those would be my spaces. No, the Floatstone stays because you only need 3 slots. You go Lillie, Retrieval, Lysandre, see how that goes. For me, I'm happy enough to show you the basic build for now for the purposes of the video, but catchers has been something that I've considered. Also, if you are playing catchers, you can change the ropes for physical switch cards because you should have enough Gust in the deck already. Fighting Fury Belt, we've been over. Extra 40 HP I don't think is impactful enough right now, but it's something that some people swear by, so there we go. Oh, I just saw something accidentally. Scorched Earth is also a stadium that you could play in bulk just for heavier cycle. Even with 3 Retrieval and 1 Fisherman, I'm not super keen on the idea. I feel like the deck has enough draw power, and Rough Seas is impactful in some matchups. And Scorched Earth, although it's good as an M-proofing card, overall matchup-wise, I don't think it saves you or bails you out enough. So there we go. Still more things to come. This is, although it's a deck that's been worked on and nailed out a while, there are still debates around Volcanion, which is interesting. Because I've personally played the deck a lot, I've tested out a lot, so I have opinions on a lot of these cards as well. Delinquent can help you out. There's definitely a few decks playing Silent Lab right now. There's Greninja and there's Turbo Dark, all playing things like Parallel and Silent Lab. These are all awkward for you, so rather than playing a 3rd Stadium card, you could just try Delinquent and guarantee yourself a way of winning the Stadium War, throwing in Disruption as well. Although the deck likes to be turbo, sometimes there are free turns where you can fire off a Delinquent and throw your opponent off guard, and that can be very good for you. So yeah, Delinquent is something that I don't like. Again, it's my playstyle of Volcanion is I want to be aggressive. I want to always race you for 6 prizes. Delinquent adds a control aspect to the deck, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just not my style with the list. Kukui is a card from the new set that some people have debated playing. In my testing, Kukui's been underwhelming. although it is an improvement on Giovanni's scheme, it turns out that the improvement is very minimal. The drawing effect happens at the same time as you're doing 20 damage, right? So you have to have already set up your board to take a KO with Kukui. And Volcanion doesn't really care about that damage. It can always get there, pretty much. And those two cards that you draw, either they're insta-play cards, which can help you out against an N later on, or they're not, and you can just... Those two cards that you've drawn are usually useless because your opponent has to N you a lot of the time against Volcanion, or they're hexing you anyway, so those cards that you drew, again, are fairly unimpactful. So Kukui is only slightly better than Giovanni, and we feel like Volcanion doesn't absolutely need to play the card, so we'd rather have more helpful draw cards or more speedy item cards in general. And the final one, we're getting there, we'll have some battles soon, is Olympia. Olympia again helps out against Fright Knight if you're expecting lots of that. Most Yveltal lists, because they incorporate Tauros now, they probably play one Fright Knight, if any. So I'm not too threatened by it. We already have ropes in here, and I feel that should be enough. And the Rough Seas makes the Fright Knight Yveltal a lot less impactful in the first place. So I don't feel like we need to tech Olympia, but again, it's a card that can keep you a little bit more safe. So it's something worth considering as well. But there we go, a fairly basic Volcanion list. There's always debates around Volk. I'd love to hear your opinions about it, and how you think it stands in the current metagame. I think it's actually one that's got a bit of a target on its head because so many people are expecting it to be a good play. As soon as it's expected as a good play, people want to counter the good play, right? So it's going to be an interesting thing to see in tournaments like Anaheim, and I'm going to a League Cup this weekend as well. First week, Sun and Moon is legal, and it's going to be a case of, did all the guard players turn up trying to counter Volk, or did some people risk playing Decidueye and Lurantis because they're new and fun and cool, and then Volk runs away with the tournament? It's going to be an interesting one to see. But yeah, I think it is still a strong deck, obviously, a very strong archetype that's difficult to get around. And if you are expecting guard meta, it doesn't mean the deck instantly loses. It just means that you have to tech your way back into those matchups by playing the catchers. So, looks like I'm up against a Guardy build from what I saw in the opening screen. So, this is a fairly even matchup in most regards. So we'll see how it goes. We are going second and we get a Mull. And do we get any info here? Oh, okay, so it's Brilliant Arrow Guardy. This can actually potentially be harder for us, depending on how aggressive we go in the early turns. So we have an awkward opening hand. At least we have Lillie. Ultra Ball top deck would be the absolute dream, because we can thin our hand of 3 cards, because we can Float Stone the new Pokemon, and get rid of 2 supporters at the same time. They play Teammates in the list, which is pretty rare for a Guardy player. They're playing Elixirs as well. There's a few interesting cards in here for certain. Getting some more info. Fairy Garden is natural. Okay. Lots and lots of free cards here. Not opposed to this at all. Oh wow. Even more moles. Unfortunately, we're not going first. But maybe we can draw some Pokemon that we can instantly bench. There, no. Jump the gun. They've got to be playing at least, what, Hoopa, Shaymin, 3 Xerneas, 3 Guardy is the minimum? 8 minimum. Up to 11? 12 even? I don't know. I think it's pure Brilliant Arrow. Didn't see any Despair Ray in there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow, that's some good hand. They better hope they have N. Okay, they lead double Xerneas. I actually wouldn't mind an N. It's a big hand, but we can't actually draw any cards. Oh, we didn't get End. That's actually a shame. Oh, we have N of our own. That makes this hand a lot better. Okay. So we'll start off with Nest and just get an EX. We have all 4. Hoopa's prized anyway, but that's not too big of a deal right now. We've prized Lysandre. Okay. We've prized a rope as well. We have to be careful with both these float stones then. Okay. Let's play the Max Elixir. That hits. Always good news for us. How impactful is Power Heater here? I don't even think it's that good. Especially because we can guarantee 1 energy in the discard pile. Alternatively, I could just attach Lysandre. They really didn't do much. Let's get this out of the way. I'm going to commit a float stone early. But I don't think I want to necessarily commit this one yet. We can just do this. There's an attachment, a Fairy Garden, and a Sycamore. Getting rid of Spirit Link and 1 Mega. There's a God of War EX. Gonna see Ultra Ball. Is it Hoopa time? Probably Hoopa time. Just a regular Guardy, so they either have Shaymin in hand or they have another reason to not go Hoopa, i.e. prized. Or they already have a very strong hand, like a Sycamore hand that they don't want to get rid of. Did they choose no target for one of those cards? Okay. 3, 4, there's no way. Brilliant Arrowless should not be playing any less than like 10 energy. Unless they prize 6 energy, I don't think that's correct. I think that's a misclick more than anything else. Well, okay then. Let's... I'm just going to Lysandre again. Put pressure on the one thing with energy. I think the way that we lose this game is if a Brilliant Arrow is able to take a 4 prize turn. So if we do this early, we are putting lots of pressure on this guy. And hopefully it means that either he starts committing here and he loses energy and 2 prizes, or he megas up this turn and, well, because he's playing elixirs rather than mega turbos anyway, I think he has to sack this off very quickly. So yeah, he starts coming to the bench now. And we do get hit with an N. End out of our million supporter hand. And a really good hand here, actually. We see a retreat into Xerneas. And we see Geomancy. And there we go, this time they choose 2 energy to attach. Alrighty then, let's bench Volc EX. We're always retreating this card. It's just where. Escape Rope isn't that good. Digging for Ultra Ball for Shaymin to hit Lysandre isn't that good because we don't have energy. I think we still bench this. We're just going to grab another Volc EX. I don't think we need Shaymin here. We'll just go for a Sycamore turn. Lillie is fine, but I want to get like elixirs and steam ups and stuff as well. So, right, that's at least elixir. We can some trainer smells first. Ultra Ball is not great. We can take the rope for potential other turns. We can take Lillie here. Elixir. Hits. We'll attach to an EX. Now our manual attachment is going to be... I think it's just going to be to the other EX, to be honest, and we can just pass in the active. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Okay, we won't pass in the active. We'll retreat to non-EX. And we'll just attach here and pass. This potentially gives them a turn of more Geomancy, which is annoying in itself. But I'm pretty certain they don't have Spirit Link Mega Lysandre in hand, because they weren't attaching any Spirit Links last turn, quite simply. At the same time, they could have been trying to make it less easy for me to make a decision. Like, the Spirit Link would go here, always, right? It's just, maybe they didn't want to because they're worried about Lysandre and stuff, but we'll see. We will see. Oh, they actually have Xerneas Break, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Okay, so they can attack us with a break this turn. That's not too bad for them. Forces me into a 7-prize game. At the same time, I'm not actually that threatened by that. So, one Steam Up gets the knockout. It's just whether I actually want to do that. We've not used any energy retrievals yet, so I'm fairly comfortable to like waste an energy retrieval in a way, just to do one Steam Up. Then we can retrieval. Then I'm going to float, and I'm actually going to dig with Shaymin here. It's only a 3-card dig, but if we hit Lysandre, I feel like we pretty much win the game. I'm not going to play the escape rope because I've commit 3 of my float stones now, and there are still chunky things on my bench. We could commit the attachment. We don't need to ever go over one... Ooh, we do. We might need to go over 160. I'm still going to commit the attachment. I think it's fine. We have so many energy in the deck. Let's draw some cards. Okay, very good. Let's Elixir. I don't think we need Baby Volk at all this game. Right, there's Lysandre. Steam Up, number 2. And we'll Volcanic Heat. Blowing it up. In comes the Xerneas. Obviously there's Fairy Garden in play, so it's not too bad. Going to see an Elixir from the opponent. Has to go onto the Guardy because that's not a basic Pokemon now that it's Break Evolved. There's going to be a Teammates. So I wonder what Teammates grabs them. Fair Energy Break? Spirit Link Mega? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Yeah, I guess it's Spirit Link Mega. But then we just KO it. I don't mind this at all. We have the backup Volk literally just staring at it, so I'm not threatened by this at all. It gives them 60 damage next turn, so I think we've just pretty much won on board state already here. Let's thin some cards. Entei is useless in this matchup. With 2 ropes in hand, I really don't mind benching this just to draw more cards from Lillie. I'm going to retrieval back some energy. I think it's good to have energy in hand, even if we're going to get hit with things like N. Can commit a float stone because we still have 2 ropes, so I feel fairly content with that. It's just going to be Volcanic Heat, retreat Volcanic Heat, retreat Volcanic Heat. Okay. Okay, there we go. Pretty easy game. Didn't have to use Baby Volk once, which is pretty cool. Just is a testament to Elixir, really, more than anything else. Some aggro Lysandre plays working out for us. What if they were catchers? Who knows what could have happened? Alrighty. We'll find another game against Benjamin C. Looks like they're playing Fire, Dark, Water, Colourless, so this could be Umbreon? Maybe? Umbreon Eevees? We'll see. Zoroark actually does present somewhat of a threat to Volcanion, even if they don't have Vaporeon up. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see what type of list it is. They start with Shaymin. There's Reverse Valley. There's DCE. So it's going to be a slow turn for them, definitely. Fairly painful. Sycamore. Getting rid of the Super Odd. Oftentimes they only play one. So if we can deal with Vaporeon, it shouldn't be haunting us again. Just a pass. Really good stuff. We will lead off with the Trainer's Mail. Oh, the dream. The dream. Okay. Rough Seas is very good in this matchup, but I might still be discarding it. Yep, we're still discarding it. Even though we have Shaymin in hand, I still like Hoopa. Hoopa 1, 2, 3, 4. Then keep a slot for the non-EX. Yeah, it thins cards. Okie dokie, let's Elixir now. Hitting one is cool. There's always the potential dream of us getting lots of Elixirs. I'm gonna burn the Retrieval. Manual Attachment for turn I think will go to the active, because then we can dream big and go for Elixir number 2. Ramp up a load of pressure on this Umbreon. Ooh. Escape Rope double steam up Sycamore. Whiffed a Float Stone, which is a bit of a shame. We'll pass. There's a Wobbuffet, so a Strafe this turn is pretty annoying for us. Ooh, they don't have Dark Energy though. So it's worse than a Strafe, definitely. It's a Sky Return turn. It's actually not that much worse. There's another Eevee. They've had to get rid of 2 Umbreon, so maybe they do play double Rod. Or like Rod, Buddy Buddy. That's what I play. Regardless, we're seeing Wob in the active here. Escape Rope response is pretty good. Is our second rope though. So our plays are Volcanic Heat KO. Potentially they just go Umbreon attach KO. I mean Vaporeon attach KO. Which makes me very sad. They don't hit Vaporeon. They can still Dark Call GX. I think we rope here. See where they want to retreat to. If they give us Eevee, I think I'm digging hard for a Power Heater turn. They give us Umbreon, we just... Okay, they scoop on the rope. Wow. Okay then. Cool. Not bad, not bad. Ooh, free pack of Sun and Moon. Good times. Okay, let's go for another game. Once again, we lose the coin flip. Volk's actually a deck that doesn't mind losing the flip because Power Heater's so absurdly good. Although we've not been doing Power Heater at all. Just been the case. But who knows? Looks like we're up against Gallade. Gallade shouldn't be a difficult matchup for us. I doubt they play many Hex. Maybe like 1. And... oh, hold on. It gets better. Vespiquen Gallade. Okay. Why wouldn't you just play Vespiquen Persimmon? That was a Maxis right there. This man is an absolute warrior. We'll see how this goes. I'm fairly confident. They didn't even retreat. Wow. Start with the mail. Ah, oh, Ultra Ball. Aren't you just the best card in the world? Let's toss these. No Hoopa is sad. But Power Heater is our best move by far this turn. So that's not too bad. So we net an equal amount of cards doing Sycamore or Lillie. So this way playing Lillie means that we keep a guaranteed supporter for next turn. Lillie OP, getting us 7 cards. Very nice. We did do the steam up, didn't we? We need another one, which is fine because we have it. We'll just get rid of 1 fire, 1 mail here. Fire energies are still totally legit in this deck. They're important cards to keep. Steam up. Attach. Let's get some elixirs going. Running hot on elixirs today. Don't think I've missed one yet. Not bad. And it's times like this where Power Heater is absolutely insane. It's a prize and it's incredible tempo. And it's such a big threat as well. It's a non-EX that they have to commit to. And it's not easy for Vespi to KO us this turn either. A special charge in a DCE. Attached to Combee, farewell letter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they got 70 damage right now if they find Vespiquen. There's VS Seeker for Sycamore. 80 damage. They got rid of both special charges already. This could be quite an easy game. There's a Klefki. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's good old Oranguru. Quite a buzz on Verbank right now about that card. There's Klefki attaching itself somewhere to the active. Ultra Ball gets rid of Aresta. Shaymin for 3 more cards. Unknown. Needs to unknown into a few more unknowns. $20 off right now. Ooh, Ultra Ball could be the one. Nope. 2 items. Maybe more Shaymin digging. Maybe they play Parallel, who knows. Unknown once again. One more chance. Instant play card Oranguru for one more chance. Oh, they hit Ultra Ball. That's incredible. Okay. They've got there. Easy game. Easiest game of their lives. Not that we totally have a Volcanion backup. But oh well. We'll let them dream. It's fine. Not even sure if I like that unknown this turn. If they already have the damage. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, they had the damage. I think you can fairly contently keep that. Don't know what else they're digging for. Anyway, back to big old KO for 1 prize. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15 when we KO this, so they still need 1 more damage after this, which is cool. This is going to be a Lillie turn, I think. Keeps a resource again in the hand. Not much else we need this turn. Gets us into good old Nest Ball. Gets us into good old Baby Volk again, which is excellent. Ranger's not a bad card to pick up, just to have in hand for Sycamore next turn. Okay. I'll take it for now. Don't need to commit this float stone, I don't think. N is fairly painful. Okay. Volcanic Heat. Prize number 2. So mapping out our prizes, we're going prize number 3 next turn. And it's down to them really to just find more Pokemon at this point. They've got 3 Vespi in the discard pile. And 1 Revitalizer gone. If they're making space for a Gallade line, I don't think they have space for 2 Revitalizer. Maybe 1 Rod? Who knows? Ooh, a Buddy Buddy. That's actually really good for me, because this is like one of the most difficult cards for them to deal with. They've had to pick up the Vespiquen, obviously. But that's one more Pokemon out of their discard pile, so they still can't get the KO here. I think they need to Kukui us. Did they just discard a Kukui? No, it was a Lillie. Okay. They did just Ultra Ball away a DCE though, I believe. There's Rattata. Okay. So picking up Ranger wasn't a bad idea. Here we go. Now you're using your... Unless he's discarding it with a Sycamore anyway. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, choosing to instruct before the Rattata. Interesting. Interesting decision. And now they Rattata. And just be revenge for 160. Alrighty. I can live with this. Let's heal our way out of Sky Return KO. This is going to be a Ranger turn, I think. No reason for it not to be. We can bench this. Ranger's way better than a Rope Lysandre. Even though it spends an extra card off end, they're kind of good cards to get off end. Hoopa's a good card to pick up. In comes Shaymin. There's a Tauros GX. And a DCE and a Sycamore. 60 is enough to finish us off if they're able to find a switch card. I wonder how many switch cards this plays. Again, I'm not certain of the counts because they're fitting in Candies and Gallades and such. But one Floatstone's in the discard pile. Yeah, they deck themselves out. There we go. Volk on the rampage, the win streak. Quite simply, we didn't face any Garbodor. And when Volk doesn't see Garbodor, it does really, really well. So, let me know, guys, down below what you think about the list, Volcanion in general, any other concerns about Sun and Moon you have, or about the channel. Leave a like to the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. For now, though, it has been Joe from Omnipoke, and I'll be seeing you in another video soon. Cheers.